got another interesting game, and we got our first awesome jersey game that we're going to talk about on Tease the League. So we've got the 4-3 Atlanta Falcons heading into Tennessee to play the 2-4 Tennessee Titans, who are wearing the old Houston Oilers jerseys. So this is going to be a very important game for two teams that are middle of the road. We've got the Falcons as a 30-point favorite, and this total is very low, 35.5. So Gage, what are your first thoughts on this?
Yeah, one of the lowest totals of the season. We've got Ryan Tannehill missing this game with an ankle. Will Levis, the young QB, drafted this year, young rookie QB, getting a chance out of Kentucky. Really interested in this game, man. I think I'm a big Tennessee Titans better. Either side, I usually feel like I have a decent bet on these guys. I like them this week. I like them with the points, especially with such a low total in this game. Um, this could be Derrick Henry's last game in that Tennessee Titan uniform. If they lose this game and pretty much go to 2-5 and pretty much this season's almost over with, really look for him to be on the move to try to get some draft capital. And if they win, then they're 3-4. Maybe see some young bright spots out of a Will Levis, and then they want to hang on to a guy like King Henry. So I think this is a huge game for Tennessee just as a culture. I look for them to play well. I look for them to play very hard nosed. Mike Vrabel to be really invested in this game. I think they definitely cover the three. I like a Derrick Henry anytime touchdown with wanting to keep the pressure off of Levis. I don't expect him to do a whole lot, be more game manager type role. I think they lean hard on the King. And I think I look for him to get in the end zone. I think this is a 17-14, 2017 type game, and I think the Titans definitely cover here.
Yeah, I probably lean Titans on the straight up spread. Fantastic teaser spot. If you're going to tell me there's 35 points scored in a game and I can get a team for to not lose by more than 10, I'm going to hit that every time. Really, also when we got two run heavy offenses, that clock's going to roll.
Yeah.
So hopefully this week we get to see Bijan after nobody mentioned anything, and then he was on the field for like 7 plays last
Yeah.
week,
Migraines.
which would have been nice to know beforehand, for fantasy reasons, for just entertainment reasons, for betting reasons. That stuff's supposed to be disclosed, but it wasn't. But very interesting game here. Ritter versus Levis, quarterback spot. Bijan versus King Henry. And then you've had Drake London, who's been playing better, except for trying to flip and almost fumbling out of the end zone last week, which we saw a lot of from the Falcons. We saw Ritter not sprint through the end zone and slow up
Yeah.
short and fumble through the end zone, which
Yeah.
almost proved to be pretty costly. So big game both ways here. The Falcons could definitely start taking the lead in their division, and as you mentioned, for the Titans, like if you lose this, you kind of lose your chance at winning the division, which is always every team's best shot at making the playoffs.
Yeah, I think with that being said, the Titans also were involved in a trade this week, getting rid of their long time. I think he was maybe even I don't know if he was All Pro or not. I think he was All Pro. Kevin Byard, safety that hadn't missed a single game in his entire career with the Tennessee Titans. So this will be our first week without them. Fortunately, they don't have a team coming in that likes to push the ball down the field, so may not be a glaring weakness right away. Do think that that will be a weakness. That kind of also leads me to believe that King Henry could be on the way out. If some you don't see something out of Levis or something positive this week.
And then maybe even DeAndre Hopkins as well.
Yeah, yeah,
You could definitely see a couple pieces for the Titans move by that trade deadline on Halloween
yeah.
if they lose this game.
Let us know who you think you would like to see some of those guys go to. I've been hearing King Henry to the Ravens, and boy, let me tell you, if something like that can go down, I know Tennessee fans would be kicking themselves, be seeing, like I think of Steve McNair, Samari Roll, and I think some other guys that were Tennessee players ended up going to Baltimore, and then to see a guy like Derrick Henry move on to another team, and you know how successful that would already be. You don't even have to really predict much there to realize that, man, if that guy gets pushed into that kind of a run first offense, that's gonna make some real waves. So let us know who you think maybe Hopkins would go to. So this trade deadline coming down to the wire, it's really going to be interesting.
Couple huge pieces. I know a lot of teams around the league will probably be rooting for the Titans to lose so they can get those key pieces. But let's be honest, that Houston Oilers jersey, those throwback jerseys, like you said, we're definitely going to see King Henry in the end zone in those,
Yeah, for
and we
sure.
definitely could even see them win. You wouldn't be shocked. These low scoring games, when there's not going to be a high variance, it's very easy for the underdog to win.
And this is going to be a very emotional game, in my opinion. At Tennessee, that crowd feels what's going on here. That crowd feels a team that's on the brink of this. Team's been really good. People. This team has been really good for these last few years. Making these deep runs in the playoffs, and now they're finally starting to fall off a little bit. And I'm sure their fan base is feeling that. So I'm expecting that crowd to be rowdy. I'm expecting them to try to give one more fight to try to get this season back in. And I really do think they end up covering.
And I'm also not going to doubt Vrabel off the back of a bye and with the kind of season on the line here. And always, as always, thank you all for watching. Let us know who you think the players might go to if they lose, who Hopkins might go to, King Henry. Do we see one of the linemen get moved? Do we see Jeffrey Simmons on the defense get moved? Like where we might see some of these pieces, and then who they would go to and who you would want to see them go to if you are a fan of those teams, like the Ravens, and might pick somebody up.